Everybody, it's Gil
And Debbie.
from the Sailing Vessel Dream Chaser here in the house.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Someone's enjoying not being on the boat for a while.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Planting roots and nesting.
Oh, yeah, a lot of that. We just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody for following us and continuing on our journey, even though it's not where it started off to be. But we hope you all had a fabulous holiday with family and friends, and we're so thankful for everything we had.
In last week's video, we finished our trip to Las Vegas and the One Republic private concert. We also did a little shark tooth hunting and showed you some of the things we were doing here around the house. If you didn't see that video, I'll put a link to it right up in this particular corner. This week, we're going to take you along, show you a little bit of our Thanksgiving that we had, and I want to show you how to make egg drop soup at home. It's one of McKinley's favorites, and it's one of those things you only seem to get in a Chinese restaurant. Never tried it at home, but it came out really good. It's a really simple recipe, easy for you to do too. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, along with the taste test from the family. Happy Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for? You miss your mama? It's tough when you get to see somebody again, huh? Then you realize how much you miss them. Swabby, what you having for Thanksgiving?
Bacon.
Soup and bacon and turkey.
And Brussels sprouts.
What kind of soup?
Chinese soup.
Egg drop soup?
Egg drop soup.
So you're having soup, bacon, Brussels sprouts. What are you thankful for?
The cat, my parents, everybody in my family,
Aw, that's so sweet.
including
But before Thanksgiving, Swab and I had went down to Venice Beach, Florida area looking for some shark teeth. And after that, we went to one of her favorite places to eat, which was a Chinese restaurant so she can get egg drop soup. We'll show you that little adventure and what ensued after that. What is it?
my favorite thing in the world.
What is that? You know what it's called?
Egg drop soup.
Egg drop soup. You like it. And you got some broccoli. And what else did you just try that you liked right there on your plate?
Duck.
It was good? As you likely saw in other video clip, McKinley loves that egg drop soup. And I thought, you know, this cannot be all that hard to make. So I think one of the things we're going to do is we're going to try to make egg drop soup at home. And the recipe is it's actually simple, and this tastes unbelievably good. So let me show you what you need to do to go ahead and make your own at home in about 20 minutes, if that. It's so simple. We are going to go ahead and make ours in the Instant Pot, and I'll show you the items you need. It's actually not very much. So we'll need a bit of chicken stock. You can either make your own or buy some at the store, either way. We'll be using some garlic powder, sesame oil, ground ginger, and white pepper. White pepper is a pretty common ingredient in a lot of different Chinese dishes. And you don't become liveaboard sailors without some measuring spoons that actually look like mermaids, so we'll be using those to measure this stuff out. After we depressurize the pressure cooker, we're going to go to the next step, and that's where we're going to use a bit of cornstarch and water slurry to thicken it up. We'll use a bit of turmeric for that color of a good egg drop soup, and then we need 4 eggs, and I'll show you what we do with those later because we're only going to use the yolks from 2 of those 4, but all the whites. This is going to be a fairly easy recipe, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the pot out of the actual Instapot so that we can begin to add our ingredients right to this. We're going to start with 32 ounces or 4 cups of chicken stock. Pretty easy. We're just going to go ahead and pour this right in here. Next ingredient is ground ginger. We're just going to use 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. One of the downsides of these lovely little mermaid spoons is they don't fit in a whole lot of it, but it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. We're getting close. We're now going to do a half of teaspoon of garlic powder. And we're going to do a quarter of a teaspoon of white pepper. The last thing we'll add is a half teaspoon of sesame oil. We now just want to stir this up a little bit, get all the ingredients blended together. The next step is to go ahead and put our pot down into the pressure cooker or the Instant Pot. Each of these are a little different depending on what model you have. Just make sure you have it in sealing mode. In ours, we hit the pressure cook button. In some others, it'll be manual or high. I'm going to do pressure cook, go down to 3 minutes, and then we're just going to go ahead and wait. And this is going to get up to pressure, cook for 3 minutes, and then the timer will go off. So we'll let that go, and we'll start preparing the rest of our ingredients and steps. You know when you go to a Chinese restaurant and you order this egg drop soup, it's not a really thin consistency like a chicken noodle broth. It's kind of viscous, it's thick. Well, we want the same thing for our homemade version of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a small slurry, and then we'll use that to thicken this up after it finishes cooking. It's really simple to do. All we need is cornstarch, so we're going to use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. To our cornstarch, we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of water as well. If you've never made this before, the first thing you'll notice is this has about the consistency of like clay or something in the beginning. You just have to mix it up, and as soon as you do and you get the water kind of well incorporated into the cornstarch, this will be a nice sort of slurry as opposed to something that feels more like modeling clay or potter's clay. So, there we go. So now it's not lumpy, it's just kind of a slurry. We're probably going to have to mix this again since our pressure cooker's not quite ready yet. After a few minutes, the pressure cooker will actually start counting again from the amount of time you set down. So this is now on 2 minutes. It's been going for 1 minute here. So this just has about 2 minutes left, but we'll start preparing our eggs for this particular next step. The next thing we're going to do is prepare the eggs, and what we want to do is separate the eggs so that we end up with 2 of these eggs just being the whites. So we're going to go and start with that. Deb and I get our eggs just down the street from us here, always farm fresh. They're really good. You'll notice the yolks are a darker, richer color. Look at that. Alright, there's one separated. There's the second one. Okay, again, we'll drop that yolk in there. We won't need it. And then the last 2 we want to crack and take the eggs, whites and yolks together. So we'll just crack those in here. And one thing about getting farm fresh, you never know what size you're going to get. They're not graded like in your grocery store, because that's a little tiny egg compared to the others. Alright, just get rid of my garbage cup here. And now it's just a matter of beating the eggs. We're going to do this like you would for any scrambled egg, for example. We'll set that aside with our slurry. We'll be using it in just a bit. Now that that just beeped, we'll go ahead and hit this cancel button, and then we'll go ahead and set it to venting. And remember, you don't want to burn yourself, so use some kind of a utensil to do it, and don't hold your hand over the top. And we want to quick release that. We don't want to do it the natural venting method. Now, you know I'm kidding, but it could be like a massage steam or something. And I smell like a Chinese buffet. Our Instapot is now pressure released. We can go ahead and open this without any sort of issues. Always turn the lid out just in case that steam doesn't hit you in the face. We'll go ahead and just put this lid aside for a moment. So the next thing we want to do is turn this back on to a saute mode. And the reason is we want to bring it up to a boil so we can add that slurry and have it thicken up. Most of the pots will just have a saute button. So we're going to go ahead and just leave that. 10 minutes should be fine. All we really want to do is get this up to a boil so we can add our slurry into it. As soon as this gets up to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add in our turmeric. This is what gives it that lovely yellow color you always see at the Chinese restaurants. You can just use yellow food coloring, but that just doesn't seem right to me. With our broth base now boiling, we'll go ahead and add in the ground turmeric. And we just need to do 1/4 teaspoon of this. I'm trying not to let too much steam get into it. I know it's a little bit much. We'll go ahead and mix that up, and you can already see it's starting to get that yellow color that we want to see. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up our slurry again, just because it sat, right? So it started to settle a little bit. And we're going to stir that up real good. And you want to make sure it doesn't feel like that modeling clay consistency I was mentioning before. And now we're just going to go ahead and pour that in. And we want to stir that for about 1 minute while it boils. With the slurry in, we now want to whisk it really good. We want to make sure that all of that cornstarch is incorporated very well. And we just want to do this for 1 minute, and then we're going to turn this heat back off and add our eggs in. With this boiling, we pour in the eggs. We did. So while it was boiling, we just mixed it up, and we poured our scrambled egg mix into the soup while we stirred. We turned off the pot at that exact moment, and we just continued to stir for about 1 minute as this is cooling down. I just turned it off 30 seconds ago. Normally this is served with scallions, or put scallions in here. We actually don't care for them here in this family, so we didn't add them, but you could certainly do that. But you can see that thickness is exactly what we want. So let's let this cool a little bit. I'll plate some up and we'll check it out. There's the perils of videoing sometimes. This has been cooling for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get a ladle, and we will plate some of this up and give it a try. I think I might bring my little taste tester in as well. I think the next thing to do is really just ladle it up, and let's give this a try. And sadly, we don't have a great ladle here in the house, so I'm using this little rice cooker one. The next thing really is just to do this like you would in a Chinese restaurant. We tend to like these chow mein noodles, so I'll go ahead and get some of those and sprinkle them down on the soup just like I would in the restaurant. Let's give this a shot. Now the proof is always in how it tastes, so let's go ahead and get a little spoon of this and see. Oh, it's good. If I made it again, I think I might put a little less ginger in it. I can definitely taste the ginger, and I don't normally taste that when I go to the restaurant, so I might have been a little heavy on the pour with that, but really good. It'll be interesting to see what Swab thinks of this with the ginger taste to it.
A little ginger, that's what tastes good.
My favorite. Here, you want to take it back?
No.
So Gil brought me a bowl of soup to taste of his, and I decided I was going to keep this here. This is now mine.
Hi guys, I'm gonna taste some soup.
Alright, ready to give it a try?
It looks yucky.
It looks yucky. Doesn't look like the kind at the restaurant?
It does, but it looks yucky.
Alright, well give it a try. See how you like it. Take a big spoon of it, see if you like it. I think you're going to like it.
Taste it.
I did, I already had a whole bowl of it. Go ahead and take one big spoon and see how you like it. If you don't like it, you don't have that anymore.
I do not like it. I don't even like it.
Really? I thought for sure I was going to make this so good for you.
Well, I guess on the bright side, there's more for me. She did not like it. Deb's got her hand up over there. She's saying it her too. I like the chow mein noodles in mine, so I'll add a few of those. And I'm going to enjoy the bowl. I thought for sure the kid would love them. So I didn't put all this on film, but she dipped the spoon in and licked it and said she didn't like it. So I said, well, you have to have a spoon. And she sat here crying about not wanting a spoon. I'm like, look, you got to have one spoon. So I gave her that little tiny bit. And when you just saw her get up and walk away after eating this, because there was just like a 3-minute discussion around, look, we got to try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat another spoon, but you got to try one spoon of it. And I guess because I laughed after she made that horrendous face of not liking it, she was upset and walked into the other room and put the TV on. Oh, kiddos, man. So can you tell me why you didn't like it?
Because
Does it taste?
the taste.
Is it salty or gingery, or what don't you like about it? Do you know? Or is it a texture thing again?
Yeah, it's the texture.
Is it too thick or too gooey or too
thick.
too thick? You like it thinner? Okay. Do you want me to try to make one another day with a little less of that ginger in it, and then maybe make it a little thinner so it's not? So see how this is real thick like that? You want me to make it thinner so it's more runny?
More runny.
You know, well, thick. If I make it thinner, that would be more runny. So if you smell it, is that the smell of ginger that you smell? You don't. That's what you don't care for?
I don't like the ginger.
You don't like the ginger? So if we make it next time, how about we leave the ginger out? I already left the scallions out because I know you don't like scallions.
What's scallions?
Scallions are those little green round onions that we usually have at the restaurant. You put on top of them.
There was like one piece and I ate it.
Where?
And this at the restaurant.
Oh, at the restaurant. I was saying, because I didn't put any in this. All right. Well, thanks for tasting it. Sorry you didn't like it. Sorry I laughed at you.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Is that rough?
I like it.
You do? Well, hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Join us next week when we go back to Louisiana and we get on Dream Chaser. Safe sailing, y'all. Have a good one.